Okay, I'm here with Michelle. Michelle is a registered massage therapist in Ottawa, Ontario. She's my bestie for a long time. We did our undergrads together at Ottawa U. And we are having a sip and share, sip and show. Cheers. And we're going to have a little drink together. And she's going to show us some stuff that we can do to help us with tension and self-massage and things like that during COVID. And today we're starting with this thing. And Michelle, like, what is this even called?
So that is called a Gua Sha tool.
I've been calling it Gua Sha. That's wrong.
You just missed the A. It's all good. Yeah, so it's a Gua Sha tool. They're kind of getting really popular right now, but they've been around for a really long time. And Gua Sha has kind of been, it's based on like Chinese medicine theory, and it's basically like scraping out the evil in your body, or which also means like you're bringing blood and tension and fluid to the surface, and you're trying to flush it out in like kind of like our terms.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. It can do some really wonderful things. It can help with tension, but it also helps with like fluid flow and drainage. And in particular, through like facial massage and through facials, it is pretty cool because it helps with any puffiness in your face, any wrinkles. So that's why it's kind of become a lot more popular, is that people are looking for that facelift, right? And reducing fine lines. But I like doing it just as part of my normal like self-care because it feels wonderful.
Yeah. Are they all crystals? Like I know mine is rose quartz, which carries with it like certain properties as well, right? Are they all always a crystal?
Yeah, pretty much. But you can do anything. So like I've used a spoon before. So I can like literally sit there and use a spoon and just scrape. But when you do it on your face, I mean, a spoon's not as nice and comfortable.
We want.
Yeah, so they can come in a bunch of different crystals. So yours is rose quartz. A lot of them are jade. That's really common ones. Mine is rainbow fluorite. And so there's a local esthetician in Ottawa who makes all of her own product, and she like locally sources as much as possible the flowers to literally like process the flowers and make face serums and cleansing oils and that kind of thing. But she had this one tool made by somebody in the States who makes tools as well. And she does a whole bunch of like different Gua Sha, and she uses these mushrooms, these crystal mushrooms, and then I have a spoon as well. Ooh. And it's just all crystals, and so they all do like different kinds of things. So like the spoon is good for like different tension points, and they're cool, right, until they warm up with your skin.
Yeah, every time I pick this up it's cold.
Yeah,
like, and yeah, that it gets warm, but
exactly. Yeah, so that's what's nice about the crystals too, because that's going to help with any inflammation that you might have or redness through the face. I mean, I'm by no means an esthetician for this kind of thing. So I just use it mostly as tension in my practice and for myself. But yeah, so what you'll notice is the tools, yours is heart-shaped. So if you basically like picture yours like this of mine, so you have these two little divots like this, and those divots are really good for the joint or like the bone landmarks. So your jaw, the top of your cheekbone, your brow bone. So that's where you'd kind of like hook it on. Good. Yeah.
I've never done that before. That feels good.
It's really nice, right? And then the longer edges are really good for doing larger surface areas. So doing things like coming up your neck, that's really good where you use the long edge. And then you would also like do through your face, and then any drainage down the back of your neck is really good.
Oh yeah.
And then mine has this kind of serrated tip. I don't know if you can see that there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So the serrated edge is really great for any tension or fine lines. So like say somebody has like, you have some fine lines you want to work on, you can kind of like do some zigzaggy stuff through those areas. And then I use the zigzaggy area a lot with the back of my neck, because then I can push harder and just like massage out some of the tension in those areas, which is really nice.
Cool.
So, all right. So typically the way that I start off doing my Gua Sha for my face, I use this as time to just like fully connect to me. And I use it as time to like focus on my breathing. And I do nice big like breathe breaths in, hold it, and then let it out through my mouth. And I find that's really good for helping my diaphragm and helping my throat and my neck. And a lot of it too is like I feel like I store a lot of stuff through my chest and through my throat and through my neck and my face, a lot of tension. And so having that released is just like this whole big thing where I just feel calmer and in a better state. So typically I start off with some deep breaths, and I tend to like to do my Gua Sha on my face, just kind of like one side at a time with my eyes nice and closed, but I'll just show you kind of the angles and stuff. And then what I typically do is, I mean, I have a nice cleansed face right now.
Me too.
Before doing any oil, I usually use like a toner. Right now I have my rose water. You can't see it because of the light. It's the rose water face mist. And so I use that to start before oil so that it just helps it with the absorption and it helps it glide and everything. So I just sprinkle it all on, but you could just use normal toner for that. And then I just have plain old organic jojoba oil. So you can use coconut oil, you can use jojoba oil, you can use whatever face kind of cream that you have that you really like moisturizer wise.
A serum?
Yeah, or serum, face serum. Yep.
Okay.
I have a balm too that I've used. So it kind of is like whatever you find best is for your skin, but you want that lubrication. You don't want it just to be dry on your face.
Okay.
So
I have the serum ready. It's dripping off my hand.
yeah, just apply it all over your face. So just lightly, it doesn't have to like blend in.
This is so fun. Oh, down my neck too. Okay. Well, mine's absorbing into my skin pretty fast. I don't think it's gonna give me much lubrication.
So typically when I do my Gua Sha, like I said, I start kind of like at the back of my neck and I do some massage through there. And that's where I use my good. You could also use the flat edge for that too, because it's a larger surface area. And this is a spot where you can press harder than other areas. And so you do that area just about 5 times, but anywhere that feels good, you can kind of linger. So
can you go like
it varies
up and
every
down,
day
or do you only go down?
I do.
Can you go up to or only down?
You can go up and down at the back of your neck. Up and down at the back of your neck is fine. And like you can get it to like the back of your skull, like in through here, and you can like press in there if you have tension that's held through there. Yeah, feels good, right?
Yeah.
So then what I do is we come to the neck and we come up the neck. So a lot of facial massage stuff, what you're trying to do is you're trying to move everything up, which will help with that lift. But then we also will drain it back down, which will help with pushing that fluid back into your lymphatic system. So you always want to make sure that you're not using your stone like just like this. You want it a bit on an angle. So the way that I have it, see how it's like this, and it's kind of like more surface area versus just this. Do you see that difference?
Yeah.
We don't want it flat because I mean that's hard to use, but just straight, it's more pressure. We don't want more pressure. We want it light. My skin's really reactive today, so it's going to get blotchy, but you don't want to cause like lots of redness. So This is more just like a therapeutic kind of thing, right? So we do about 5 times up. This is where I like the oil because sometimes I find for myself lotions kind of like just seep into my skin.
The moisturizer's just seeping in. Yeah, the serum just seeped in. So I tried the night cream to see if it's a little thin.
Yeah, and that's why too, using like a toner or wetting your face beforehand, it kind of will stop that like sucking motion of it.
I need to get a rose water. That looked nice what you were doing.
It's so nice. And so after you do that about 5 times, then you're going to come, and I always pin. So like we pin the tissue down when we're doing it. So that way you're not like dragging all the way, you're focusing just on those areas. So anywhere that I do, I hold it before doing it. So after doing the neck upwards, I hold my chin and I have my tool and I come to the side up to my ear. So this is where you use those nice.
I should need to switch.
Because you're following the bone.
Oh yeah, that feels different.
I would do yeah, that's better. So again, with the angle, like you want to have more of like the surface area of it versus just directly on.
Right.
So that way it pulls more of your tissue.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as intense that way either.
Yeah. So you do that about 5 times. And yeah, you can switch back and forth. I find I like to focus just like one side and then I do the other side afterwards. That's totally up to you.
If you had one of those ones that's like a roller, could you do the same routine with the roller, or this is specific to this tool? Because I've seen people with the rollers.
Yeah, it's very similar with the roller. The only thing with the roller is that I have one, I just didn't bring it down. It's more to kind of push fluid. So you're not going to kind of like get to be able to follow along bony landmarks. So the bones in your face, it's more just going to be like that pushing of the fluid, but the same kind of thing. You're going to push out, you're going to push up towards your ear, and then you can roll it down your neck. So always drain at the back of your neck with your tool. And so that is like after you pushed up a bunch of times and then we go down. So we push that fluid away that we've moved. So after I do through my jaw, then I go to my masseter. So right here where like your jaw is. So when you clench your jaw, that's really tight. So you can either use like the flat spot of your stone, or like I have that jagged spot. So I tend to use the jagged spot. I go up and down for mine just because it feels really good to massage out that tissue. Pardon?
Do I clench it when I do it? Oh, it's right
No,
here. Oh, it's right there.
Yeah.
I just felt, I didn't
When
know
you
what it.
clench, you can feel like you rub up against that muscle.
Oh, I think I've been doing a lot of clenching.
It feels so good, eh? And then you can take like the corner, or I take this part, and you can also just kind of like do that with it. So see how it's just pushing into it, but then always flushing back up towards your ear.
Yeah, that feels like a tennis ball on my calf or something. That like.
Yeah. You can get trigger points if you're like into trigger point therapy, but you can get like what people would call knots in those muscles, and that can lead to a lot of headaches. And so and I find too, like wearing a mask lately, I'm wearing a mask all day long for work, and I find I like thrust my jaw out, and so I'm just using those muscles so much that it's nice to work on it. So after I do that, then I come up to where my sinuses are, and I do just like a gentle kind of like pumping down motion. You can pin too if you want to.
Well, there's so much you can do. All I was doing was going like this.
Yeah.
It kind of hurts. Must be tight in my sinuses.
Like if you have blocked sinuses or issues with your sinuses, it can be quite tender in there. So, I mean, you don't want to irritate it, so don't like push super hard, but sometimes it feels really good, right?
Yeah.
Just to release it. So, I mean, judge based on that for you. And then you can take that kind of like heart-shaped part and you can push up along your cheekbone there.
Yeah, I can really see the fluid in my cheek when I do that.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
So you can like sometimes see those pockets of fluid just moving.
Yeah, I can right now. I wonder what that is.
Just fluid.
It's just fluid.
Fluid in their face. And then always drain down afterwards.
It doesn't hurt as much on this side. This sinus must be upset.
It might be, yeah.
It is nice in the morning just to do this and to spend time thinking like, you know,
Yeah.
how wonderful is my skin and how present do I feel in my body and
Mm-hmm.
connection to ourself without the need for external validation or comparison, just to take some moments in the morning, right? And just
Yeah. And that's what's nice about doing it, like just eyes closed, not focusing on what we're doing. You just go by how it feels, right? Then you can focus on those areas of tension. You can just enjoy the feeling on your face. How many times do we touch our face in a day? I mean, pre-COVID.
we're not supposed to, but it's hard. It's really hard.
You're not supposed to, right? But we do, but we also store so much. And a lot of the Chinese medicine theory stuff too is we have like half of our meridians for our body go to our head and our face. So even more so, it's so connected to our whole body, like the nerves and then the fluid flow for Chinese medicine. So it's super great to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so through your forehead, you can do kind of some up and down motion or some side to side zigzags.
Should I use my heart part?
I would more use your flat part.
Oh yeah, that feels better.
Yeah. I'm using my zigzag part, but it doesn't need, like I also use my flat part. This is where it's like just up and down. And then after I've done that, then I go along my brow bone with the heart part.
Feels good. Do you do this on people when you massage, or is it always a self-care practice, like a self-massage practice?
So part of my training, I can do Gua Sha as part of like my acupuncture training that I've done. I can't do it in terms of like you're having a facial, right? So there has to be a therapeutic effect for what I do. But yes, ultimately I do. I often combine it with, I'll combine Gua Sha with like just massage and with craniosacral therapy techniques, scalp massage. Like I'll do a whole kind of big thing through those areas. Especially if somebody has like a lot of neck, jaw pain, headaches.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. And that's it. And then afterwards, I like to finish. I mean, it depends on how much oil or lotion or balm you have. I take a nice warm cloth and I just put it over my face, let the heat kind of soothe my face, absorb any extra oil or lotion. I don't want to take it all away, right? We need moisture in our face.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome.
That's it. Yeah.
That was great.
It's pretty fun.
Thank you. Cheers to the Gua Sha.
Cheers to Gua Sha.
Thanks, Michelle.
You're welcome.